Second time today for Kirk Smith.
Yes, third time.
Third time. Oh.
1848, Jeremiah Callan was down the road from Georgetown and Kelsey mining for gold. I think putting an outlet for a major American chain in the heart of an historic district like that is...
Kirk, can you come a little closer to the microphone, please?
I think it's despicable. It just doesn't go together. And by the way, at one point when one of the witnesses started to go into a long history of litigation by this group and how the chain had been sued and the like, I noticed you seemed to cringe. I can't read minds, but you can ask counsel, I'm not giving you advice, but you're in a quasi-adjudicatory role, and you do play a role, each of you, in making determinations about credibility. When you have differences of fact being presented, it's your job to determine credibility. Which are you going to give more weight to? And when it comes to reputation, it doesn't have to be first-hand knowledge. By definition, ask counsel, it has to do with how somebody is generally known in the community. And that's relevant for one of the important CEQA factors, which is blight in the community. If you have someone who as a corporate citizen has a litigious record, kind of like Donald Trump, and doesn't get along with his neighbors, that is significant because it adds to the kind of anti-competitive spirit that's harmful to that small town. And by the way, Mr. Rinaldi, from another discussion earlier, the subject of historic values and culture is in the general plan. And on 153, by the way, there's an extensive discussion about protecting oak trees and the canopies. And the same thing is in the city rules as well. They have an ordinance that has strong rules, and you've done absolutely nothing about enforcing that with reference to the 5.2 acres was clear-cutted in violation of your own option agreement. Those are oak trees that predate the discovery of gold that my grandmother 60 years ago told me about the shamook made by the Miwok Indians from that. So I think your record on historic preservation is pretty poor. It's lousy. So ultimately, when you came down to some credibility issues, like you have one person out of town in the corporate world and somebody, another advocate over here talking about mining, forget their different positions. This guy didn't know what he's talking about. It's in my DNA. That air shaft is significant as well as the other. You don't go finding it 4 feet down. They don't go straight down. If you've all been to the Gold Bug Mine, you have a potential for a lot of recreation and tourist attractions in that area from facilitating that. But ultimately, you have an important test here. It's going to be whether you perceive yourselves individually as elected representatives responding to the public. And by the way, isn't it wonderful to see this many people show up on a Tuesday afternoon? Imagine what it would be like if you gave the public the courtesy of having meetings at night. Think about how many women and men who work hard could be able to attend and express their views in this democratic process. So I think it's an absolutely lousy idea. You have plenty of reasons to reject it. The facts are very clear, and I hope you'll do justice, or otherwise not pander to the special interests that seem to be so prevalent, paying money into the big coffers around here. Thank you.
Kirk, thank you.